And welcome. Hello and welcome to the info session on UAS 7, University of Applied Sciences in Germany. My name is Mark Curry. I am the program coordinator here at UAlbany that kind of works with the partnership with UAS 7. And Patrizia, would you like to
Yeah,
introduce yourself and a little bit about what you do?
I am Patrizia Nobbe. I'm based in New York, where I run the North America representation office for 7 German universities of applied sciences. So I represent 7 German universities, which are based in 7 different cities in Germany. But I am physically located here in New York, where I'm easily available for everyone who has questions.
Fantastic. And that is important to note with the time difference. There's really no time difference within New York State, so great.
Yeah.
Awesome. So with that said, we will dive right into the presentation here. And I'll talk a little bit about the general advising or general study abroad information through UAlbany and through the SUNY system. And then I'll hand it over to Patrizia to cover exactly what UAS 7 does, how it works, and how it could best work for you. So with that said, UAlbany Education Abroad, we will dive right in and ask the main question of why study abroad. So obviously everyone has their own personal reasons. You could talk to everyone specifically, and it could be a personal reason, professional, academic, but really whatever works best for you, whether that's growth, language acquisition, or whatever it may be. There are plenty of reasons to study abroad. It gives you great international experience, cultural experience. I'll just share some options here. Enhances the value of your degree. It looks great for employers, grad schools, things like that. If you get an internship with UAS set with which UAS 7 does a great job of doing that, built into the curriculum. Intercultural experience, personal growth. If you want to learn a language, there's absolutely no better way to learn a language than to actually go and study the language there. And of course, better understand your culture and others. Reverse culture shock is a thing, and you will go and find all that out. In my experience, that was a great experience, and I really did enjoy that. But yeah. So just covering across the SUNY system, the questions are where, what, and when for study abroad. Where, the short answer is really anywhere. Through the SUNY system, you can study abroad through any SUNY school study abroad program. And that opens up your options quite a bit. So studying what? You can study, intern, do a service trip, or volunteer, research. And UAS 7 is pretty great with this because it does knock out a good amount of those options there. And then the when, we have options for full academic year. So that's spring and summer, or the fall and spring semester. And then we also have individual semesters. And then we have shorter terms, so a summer and a winter term. And generally, those summer terms can range from 2 weeks to 3 months. And then winter terms are about 2 weeks. As we move forward, these are the countries, the programs that we were running this past application cycle for the summer and fall semesters. Since COVID had happened, we are working on relaunching the programs that we have been running in the past. So this next application cycle, you may see some additional programs offered here. But yeah. So when I studied abroad, I think one of the hardest questions to answer was, how do I choose the correct program? And a good amount of research and personal, it's cheesy, but some soul searching goes into it. So like one major thing could be academic needs, the costs of the program, internships, the type of program, the time that you would go. So obviously there's no one answer set in stone for each individual student because it really depends on your situation, what you're really looking to get out of studying abroad. But this is a good starting point of selecting that program. Yeah. So the general requirements for study abroad, As you see here, many programs do not require another language. I know I can't really think of any that I run, any programs that I run here at UAlbany that has a specific language requirement. But that doesn't mean that there are some that do have language requirements, just none on my radar. But yeah, it's my understanding that UAS 7 does have plenty of English language courses and things are taught in English. So in this case, UAS 7 would be a good option there. The GPA requirements generally range from 2.5 to 3.5. And obviously it's somewhere in between there, each individual program. And the earliest you can really study abroad is second semester freshman year. That's kind of a general term, and it really depends on which program you are interested in studying at. So when you the eligibility requirements on our program page, and there you will find the what is required of you to study abroad specifically here.
I like that it says you can study abroad more than once. I really like that.
Absolutely. Yeah, so that's the thing. Apply early in the semester and before plan to study abroad. So talk with your academic advisor. If you talk with your academic advisor well in advance and get everything figured out, it could work studying abroad more than once. I studied abroad 3 times through UAlbany, so it is very possible. I came in as a freshman and realized that I needed to study abroad, and from there, I kind of built my semesters and programs around that. And it all worked for me academically, which brings me to this. Will I graduate on time? This is quite important. So talk with your academic advisor to see how the credits that you take abroad could work towards your degree. So in short, everything that you do take abroad does come back to UAlbany or within the SUNY system as credits, but they come back as general elective credits. In the case of UAlbany, and really across the SUNY system, the UAlbany system is we have a form called the Course Equivalency Approval Form that you would work on with your academic advisor within your department and say, okay, if I take this class abroad, could it count as this class here in my discipline, in my major, in my degree? And if they sign off on that, those general electives that came back from abroad will be already signed off on as a UAlbany equivalent that would fulfill a requirement for your degree. So that's like the academic side of studying abroad here in the SUNY system. Of course, if any questions do come up on that, I'd be happy to help. I studied abroad 3 times. I filled out this course equivalency form 3 times. So I could definitely help you out in that sense. Yeah. So one of the other major things to consider while studying abroad or going into study abroad is the costs of the program. And you can reference all the costs, all the cost estimates on our websites. All the program pages have a link to the cost estimate of that respective program. But financial aid and loans can apply to your study abroad. So in that case, I always recommend meeting with financial aid before going abroad, just so you can really understand how your financial aid package would fit into the actual costs of the program that you would be going on. Same with the scholarships. If you are receiving any current scholarships at the moment, financial aid would be able to help you recognize how that would all work, if they would work in your study abroad program. And you can, of course, study for scholarships as well for study abroad. On our website, we do have a scholarships page where you can look through them and see which ones you are eligible for. And it's always recommended to look through that and apply, because every little bit helps. And yeah. So through studying abroad, obviously, if you can use studying abroad within your discipline degree, that's great. But a way to get that officially shown on your degree, you would be through this tract, this milestone on your degree called global distinction. And global distinction really works kind of hand in hand with UAS 7, because the 3 components of global distinction is to study abroad, have an internship abroad, study a language, and have globally focused coursework while you're here at UAlbany. And it doesn't have to be completed in one semester, although through UAS 7, it sounds like a good portion of the global distinction program could be completed. So yeah, that's one option there. And additionally,
you can also you could, for instance, take a Turco-German class while in Germany, even though you study our courses in English or the internships in English. Yeah, that's right.
Exactly. So that right there, you would knock out about 2 full components of that, or 2 or 3, because internship and study abroad and language study of the of global distinction.
I think it could be all 3 components, actually. Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, it definitely could be. So definitely, if you are interested in global distinction, having something on your degree, a milestone on your degree, say that you have studied at UAlbany and abroad with globally focused coursework, global distinction could be right for you. And my colleague, Dr. Annette Ritchie, basically does run the global distinction program. So if you have any questions on that, Dr. Annette Ritchie could definitely help you out with that. Additionally, Dr. Annette Ritchie also runs the Peace Corps prep program here on campus. It doesn't necessarily mean that you have to go into Peace Corps. However, does look great on a resume. It does prepare you, and it does also kind of give you some international experience and preparation for any future endeavors. And yeah, it gives you great experience in all of that. And if you are interested in the Peace Corps, obviously the Peace Corps prep program would fall hand in hand with that. The international studies minor, we also offer that here at UAlbany, and I believe across the SUNY system there are a good amount of international studies minors as well. So if you are interested in this is also an option. Again, Dr. Annette Ritchie is one of the advisors for this, so she is a good resource to reach out to. And then all of that kind of leads into graduating and post-graduation. And some additional options for you post-grad for some international experience could be found here. We help with the like scholarships, grants through the federal government to basically have you study abroad. They basically pay for you to go abroad and learn, help out, learn language, teach language, anything really internationally post-graduation. There is a chance that we could help out with that. And my colleague Jacqueline Letterman is amazing and does help out with that as well. She helped me with my applications for Fulbright, really helping perfect my writing. So with that said, every semester we do have this Education Abroad Fair, and this is an opportunity for you to meet with the Education Abroad office and see what we have to offer. So I recommend stopping by and meeting us there. Just a quick idea of what you can do before you go abroad. Meet with, I say, the big 3. So obviously family, see if studying abroad could work out. Financial aid, understand the financial side of studying abroad. And then your academic advisor, meet with them quite often, make sure everything does work out. You are interested in studying abroad or just going abroad in general, apply for a passport. It seems like the wait time for receiving a passport is becoming longer and longer. So the sooner you get in an application, the better. And of course, meet with us, ask questions, and we're happy to help. So currently these are the 2 study abroad advisors in the office. There's myself. I run the programs in the Americas, the Caribbean, Europe, with the exception of Spain, India, Oceania, and South Africa. And my colleague Carmisha Huckleby runs the programs in East Asia, Middle East, Spain, and all faculty-led programs. And with that is really the general idea of studying abroad. Before I hand it over, a good segue would be to cover the cost estimate form, just so we can see how to read this. And I pulled up UAS 7's as the example, because this is quite, I'm zooming out, making it harder to see, so I should zoom in. But yeah, so basically as a New York State resident, you'd be looking in these rows here. And if we look for the spring semester, in short, what you would be charged from UAlbany would be this number here. And this includes the tuition and fees of being a UAlbany student. If you are another SUNY student, you would be paying your home tuition and fees to your home campus, you would not be paying UAlbany tuition and fees. But for the sake of explanation, as a UAlbany student, you pay your tuition and fees to your home university, and then the actual costs of the program are paid directly to UAlbany. The charges or the projected expenses down here that you see include expenses that you may expect to spend while you are going abroad or while you are abroad. And these are really your responsibility as a student. You wouldn't really be charged by UAlbany specifically for any of these. However, there is a chance that you will have to pay, for example, the housing fee to UAS 7, or is that in UAS 7?
Rent estimates. Rent estimates for 5 or 6 months. So these are living expenses that if you live by yourself in Albany, you would incur here in the United States as well. So this is a cost estimate for housing if you spend 5 or 6 months in Germany. But as it is the case in the United States, the different German cities, and I represent 7 of them, are differently difficult or expensive or cheap for the housing market. So yeah,
so there is a range. Obviously, the estimate is there as an estimate. So you won't owe exactly $4,000 worth
but this is
rent.
A pretty good estimate. It should not be much more than that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. So yeah, and basically wrapping up, these charges here under projected expenses, you won't be charged directly by UAlbany. However, it is likely that you will have to pay these in your time abroad or before you go abroad. And this total estimate here is kind of the general estimate of what a full semester may look like for you in Germany in the UAS 7 program.
So this is basically life expenses for a semester of life as a student in Germany, because we won't charge you tuition. So tuition in Germany is taxpayer paid. So you come into programs where you do not have to pay to the German university for the credits you're taking. So this is all basically for free or differently paid. So these are just really life expenses, except for the small semester ticket fee, the $300 that are projected here. It's actually packaged as a fee that you have to pay to the university once a semester. So this is about 300 euros. It varies, or $300. It varies a little bit. There's a little range of a organizational fee that the university in Germany will charge you. That's the only fee they will charge you. And this usually includes the semester ticket already. So here it's structured as a semester ticket, but you may encounter it on a different wording, a $300 item called a fee in one way or another, but they all include the semester ticket. That's the only university-related expense you'll encounter. Yeah.
Great. And as you see here, you'll see the notes underneath. So next to semester ticket, you see number 2, and it does mention that it is charged by the government and all, and that the benefits does give you kind of free city transportation through that. That's still correct? Yes.
Yes.
Awesome. So yeah, that's basically how to read the general cost sheet of the UAS 7 program, but additionally, all of our cost sheets are formatted the same so that you would find the same information if you were interested in another program. But since you are watching this video, most likely you are interested in a German program. So yeah, with that said, that's really the general study abroad cover there. So I'll hand it right over to you, Patrizia.
Thank you, Mark.
Sorry, stop sharing.
For giving me this opportunity to say a few words about our possibilities, like how you can interact with UAS 7. I'm just trying to find the right view here. Slideshow view. Yes, can you see that?
Yes.
All right. Yeah, so as I said originally, I am Patrizia. I'm based in New York, but I represent German universities of applied sciences, and I represent 7 of them. My 7 universities of applied sciences you see here 3 of them with some pictures are in 7 really interesting, cool cities in Germany, in Berlin, in Bremen, and Hamburg, which are more in the north, in Cologne, in Munich, all the way in the south of Germany, and in Münster and Osnabrück. The latter are 2 beautiful, beautiful student cities with all of them with a high quality of life. Every city has a different thing to offer, but what's common to all of them is that they are, like Germany, in the heart of Europe, and from there it will be easy to travel and explore all of Europe in general. So no matter to which of the UAS 7 cities you are heading to, for no matter what program, you'll be well connected to the regional networks, but also to the European networks. So as a brief overview, let me start with who we are. We are a strategic alliance of 7 leading German universities of applied sciences. There is a quirk in the German university landscape where we separate out the applied science universities. So we have bachelor, master's programs, and increasingly PhD programs, but what I'm talking to you about is concerning more the undergraduate bachelor programs that you could participate in any of the 7 locations that you see here. I'm not sure you see the mouse cursor. Again, you see Berlin, Hamburg, Bremen, Osnabrück, Münster, Köln, and Munich and Bremen. And we have 3 offices for UAS 7, 1 in Berlin, 1 in Sao Leopoldo in Brazil, and 1 in New York. So here are these pictures. Each of my 7 universities is really a separate entity with a separate its own body of students, professors, faculties. Their individual universities forming a consortium, kind of like UAlbany as it relates to SUNY in general. This is how you have to imagine this. Across my 7 universities, we have so many opportunities that we have 600 study programs, 11,000 students, 2,400 professors, really 16,000 or more international students, and across these 7 universities, also 1,200 partnerships worldwide. So we are very international, each of them is, and UAS 7 and the New York office, for instance, are one of the expressions of that. And we welcome, we try to create an international atmosphere, and we welcome international students. So thank you for listening to this. And I want to outline briefly the 3 things that you might be interested in doing in Germany as part of your global distinction certificate or not. And these are a study semester in Germany, so study in Germany, an internship in Germany, or a combination of these 2 programs, a study and internship project in Germany. The study semester would be your typical semester length, 5 or semesters length. You would go to Germany, you'll select any study course that is of interest to you across the 7 universities of applied sciences, and I'll show you later how to find these programs, these courses. We have, I think, we will find out in detail later, more than 300 English-speaking courses that are available to you. We would advise you for cultural reasons to learn German. You can do that when you're there, you know, but there are plenty of English-speaking courses to go around in each of these 7 universities that I represent. The internships, the language there is English too. These are university-affiliated lab internships. So you would be in a company like or research like lab setting, working with professors and maybe industry or companies that are in the area, or nonprofits on real life questions. So this is kind of how you have to imagine what would go on in your 3 to 5 month long internship. And the study and internship program is a opportunity that in total gets you to about 9 months, spending 9 months in Germany. You would start out with a study semester in Germany, selecting the classes that you want to take, and round it up with a internship in one of the university labs. So I don't want to overwhelm you with details right now. I'll show you how to access all the information you'll need to apply for any of these opportunities, what are the deadlines and so on in a bit. Let me just say we offer these lab internships, but the study and internship year on the right-hand side here in orange, there's also an option included here where you study and take courses for a semester, and then you do not necessarily take an internship at the university labs, but you can spend the first 6 months while you're studying finding your own internship outside of the university. And our professors can help you with that because they all have excellent networks, non-academic networks, which is one of the requirements to actually teach at one of our universities. Is not only stellar academic records, but also you have to have worked outside of academia for a long time. So our professors, they come in with their networks and with their knowledge of the labor market, the job markets, their entrepreneurship knowledge, and so on. They might be able to assist you also finding some of these internships. And while you're there, we can help you figure out how to resolve this also with related visa questions, depending on what your country of origin is. So this is for the structure of the 3 opportunities that are available to you. So either you study for a semester or you do an internship of 3 to 5 months. Some of them are 6 months, or you do a combination of the 2. Here I have a slide with some examples of what study courses are available. For instance, there is an international design project semester lower left in Osnabrück University of Applied Sciences. There is a human machine interaction in industry course at Bremen City University of Applied Sciences, construction internships, Airbus Cafe, and so on. And here are some internship opportunities in software engineering, solar module performance at low radiation and oblique incident light. I'm surprised that I can read it. Plastics testing and polymer physics, experimental static. So this is kind of an example, a snapshot of the things that you can do. And taking one step out, our universities of applied sciences, we are particularly, we cover all of your typical study programs and degree programs and offer everything that you can imagine with very few exceptions. But we are particularly known for our engineering and our business administration programs. So particularly known for engineering, business administration, and then, you know, health-related sciences programs, design focus points, and so on. So there is a particular applied nature to the degrees and therefore the study courses and the internships that we offer. And that brings me to taking another step out. Now that you've seen kind of, you know, a semester length is possible for an internship or study course. So universities of applied sciences, I've hinted at it earlier, they run on particularly applied options. Like in our curricula, our students, they already are doing internships or they do co-op like practice. So everything we do, we try to teach not only with an ivory tower mindset in mind, but also with a practical labor market mindset in mind. And this increases employability right after graduation and so on. So there's a lot of hands-on teaching going on, practical semesters, employability goes up. We offer dual study programs. You can ask us more about that. Universities of applied sciences also tend to be a little smaller than your typical research university. Therefore, you have small student groups working with the professors. The professors, I have said it at another point earlier, they are only hired if they're academically excellent, but also if they have worked outside of academia. So they bring in their networks and their knowledge and their know-how. We do applied research mainly, and in essence and in nature. Because of these practical applications, we are heavily interwoven with the regional networks, the regional companies that of the environments that we are located at, and also with international networks. As an addition, you see that New York and Sao Leopoldo offices here. And the regional networks, you have seen it, these, my universities are located in the economic powerhouses in Germany. Berlin with its entrepreneurship structure, Hamburg, Munich, Bremen with all the, its big centers of economic powerhouses, economic power in Germany. So my universities, each of them tend to work with the regionally located companies there, and there's a lot of benefit to be had from that. So this is as a background. So you come into a vibe of, pulling your sleeves up and just learning by doing. This is the Universities of Applied Sciences, as you can imagine it, so that you can imagine it. I want to show you now how to pull together your information for studying there for a semester and doing an internship, or both of it. So you go onto the website. It's uas7.org. I don't know whether it will be easily visible. Do you see it here now? Okay, so UAS7.org, maybe we can link it under the video later as well. You go to the students and alumni tab here, and you open the study and internship program. And this is where you find everything you need to know. So it starts out with a program overview again, or like already on the landing page here, you see a travel scholarship. We have a few travel scholarships available. That would give you, I think it's 1,000 euros, a one-time payment of 1,000 euros towards your travel. There are quite a few of these available. Every time, if you apply, you'll automatically be considered. It's not an extra form, it's nothing. You'll automatically be considered, and just between us, our partners, and University of Albany is one of our partners, they receive preferential treatment here, but you still need to be, in the frame of a student in good standing, full-time undergraduate students in good academic standing. That's the baseline that we need. So there's a travel scholarship. It gives you the university locations again, the SIP program overview. It gives you people who have done it already. Students give you a lot of testimonials here. I see that it has been quite filling up lately, so you can watch these videos and form your own opinion on all of this. Then there is a program overview, which gives you the program lines again. You have seen this. These are the flyers. You can click on them and download them. They're very neat in a postcard format, and gives you overview over the study program, internship program, and study and internship program. As I said, here is information on application and deadlines. So the travel scholarship, as I said, you don't have to do anything other than applying at the right time towards at the right deadline. As a hint to make everything easier for you, it makes sense for US students to apply for the October deadline. That works best in terms of our academic schedules. So you'd go to Germany. If you apply for October 1st for a study program, for instance, and you would go to Germany for what we call the summer semester, which is basically early the year after. So if you apply for the February deadline, you could go for the winter semester, but it usually doesn't work out with the semesters. There's not enough overlap there. So you aim for the October 1st deadline, and you can apply for the study and internship programs each. But if you are aiming for the entire package, study and internship, then you need to take February 15th. But as a rule of thumb, if it's just one semester, apply October 1st. So, and here, this is most interesting. I advise everyone to just, if you are interested in an internship or in a course, you head right to the course search tool, for instance, and it will find you all the English taught courses. Now I understand some people speak German too. Ask me, I can send you the direct link where to find the billions of German-speaking courses, but these are the English taught courses. You see, it's 587 results, surprising myself. And since this is a little much to go through, you can here search for, if you know you desperately want to go to Bremen, you can here find everything you can study in English in Bremen. But if you are more like, okay, I want a very specific aerospace engineering project, you just try to find it here in the search tool, and it will give you all the courses that relate to that. And I hope there are some. There are 3 results: Advanced Aerospace Composite Design in Mechanical Aeronautical Engineering, Industry Design Team Project, also in that department, and Manufacturing Quality Assurance in Aerospace. You see, there are 2 in Bremen and 1 in Hamburg. So this is where where you would see, if you see a course that's really of interest to you, you would find, okay, this is the city, this is the course I want to study. It's in Hamburg, I see. And then you would check for Hamburg, what else might be in Hamburg that's of interest to you. And so you use the search tool here, you list a few of the courses that are really of interest to you or really relevant to you. And what you then do is you go back to the applications and deadlines, I would say. And here you'll find the application documents. You go to the study program because you just looked for 3 to 5 courses that are really interesting to you. And you see here all the application documents that we would need from you. As a heads up, within the next month, we will simplify this. There will be fewer requirements. Right now, we would need an application form, a resume, a statement of motivation, a study or internship plan, a statement of support from your university, and a transcript and a voluntary language evaluation. We will probably tone that down to an application form, a resume, a statement of support from your academic advisor, and a transcript of grades. So it will be a little simpler, but you have your, what we want to know from you is the 3 or 5 courses you're really absolutely interested in studying. And these you take to your academic advisor and get their insight and their signature. Otherwise, we can't proceed, because we want to make sure that your credits will be accepted and what that means, so that somebody has looked over this. So this is part of the requirements. But what I wanted to also show you is,
I'm sorry, in that case, that like we mentioned earlier, that does kind of tie in with the course equivalency form, making the credits count towards your degree here in the SUNY system.
That's right. And I have another note on this. You see here, each of these courses gives you a number of credits, 6 ECTS. That's the European Credit Transfer System. That works a little differently in Europe. Basically, that number, if you encounter that, you divide it by 2. If it's not an even number, you divide 5 by 2 and round up. So this is 3 credits, 3 US credits, but Mark will be able to help you with that. 6 ECTS will translate into 3 credits here. It's not that you do more work, it's just a different way of counting. Yeah. So this is basically all you need to know to kind of start checking out whether there's any opportunity that you are interested in. You see internship search tool, you'll see again, like with the courses, the English speaking courses, these are all in English language, right? We have 37 internships, lab internships across our 7 universities of applied sciences. You see here in Bremen, maybe it's sorted, so it starts with Bremen. Here's one in Osnabrück, food process and product design. We have some very interesting nutritional courses and internships, which I understand are hard to come by. So check it out. Here are the fields where like what types of internships you can take in what fields, what's available. And then again, you would go to the applications and deadlines and see what's required for an internship program. It's the same application form, resume, statement of motivation, study and internship plan, statement of support, transcript, and language evaluation, which is voluntary, but we will simplify this too. And here, what's important for us, the internship plan, if you download that, you will select up to 3 of the internships of your choice, and we will try to place you with your first choice. If that's not possible because there's competition or for some other reason, for instance, you're missing some of the prerequisites, then we will place you with your second choice. So work through this, look at it, and if you have any questions, you can ask me. I wanted to also show you the eligibility requirements that are listed here. So full-time undergraduate students in good academic standing. SUNY Albany students are automatically, if that describes you, you are automatically eligible. There are more specific requirements for the IP and SIP labs. So here is some prior lab experience. I would not exclude myself from that. If you don't have any lab experience to speak about, I would still apply and see. But what the professors in the labs, running the labs, want to see is that you have some of the basic course prerequisites that you can be a functioning part of the team, you know. So they'll look at your transcript, they look at the courses that you already took, and then they make a general assessment whether you'd be a good addition to the team or not. So again, you would go to UAS7.org, students and alumni, and the study and internship program, and this is where you find all the information that I just presented. And I would hand over or hand back to Mark at this point. If you have some more specific questions or something I should expand further on. And let me go back to my presentation to give you my email address, which is nobbe@uas7.org. You'll see it here. And again, our website information, social media, and everything. Carolina can't be here today, unfortunately, but the email address is valid too. Thank you.
Thank you for that in-depth walking us through the website, where to find everything. That's very useful. I do have a couple of questions that could be useful for the students. So one is I know the semesters do not line up too great to make the fall semester work too well, but a full academic year in Germany could make that work in a sense. So like to make, if you really do need to start for the fall semester and you could make an academic year work, you could make that work across the board. So in that sense, that February 15th deadline would be for the academic year. For the academic year. And the October deadline is for a semester. Okay. You can apply for single semesters in February too, but in my experience, it doesn't line up. It doesn't align well. Correct. Yeah. So like within the SUNY system, the SUNY academic calendars don't really line up for the fall semester. However, if you were applying in January, February, for that February 15th deadline, an academic year is possible to study abroad for that time. However, fall semester would not be available. Don't know if that was really. The fall semester would work. It would start fall of that year, and then because you would start on the German semester, then it doesn't matter whether the German semester runs too long at this point, because you know you would just be on German semester time and then add the internship in the end. So you would be so far removed from the SUNY Albany calendar that this works. Then to the German calendar. Yes. Perfect. Awesome. So the full academic year could work in that sense. Right. However, an individual fall semester would overlap into the spring semester, making a fall semester alone in Germany not really work out. Right. So that was really, I don't know if that was really a question or more of a clarification. But another question I have is
I'm still struggling with that. And then I have my 7 universities of applied sciences are located in 6 different German states, each with a different academic calendar. The differences are not major, but
yeah,
my answers usually are, it depends.
Yeah, that's the general answer.
Yeah.
So another general question would be selecting an actual university. I know you said that you put your top 3 options regarding coursework or the internship opportunities, whichever ones work out. What goes into that selection process? Is that more, well, one from the student side, that selection process is
students have to know whether they have a preference for a city or a certain city lifestyle that they associate, or whether they have a preference for finding the absolute perfect academic match.
Okay.
And if you have a preference for finding the absolute perfect academic match, I would find out which of my universities of applied sciences, they all have a similar profile. Like all are heavy on engineering, with the slight exception of Berlin. They do some engineering too, but they are heavier on business administration. But they all have a similar profile. Just the engineering is such a broad field, for instance, that engineering is taught a little differently, different departments in Munich than in Hamburg, for instance. So you find your special spot. Or nutrition science. Most of my universities offer that in some form or another, but some are particularly heavier on nutrition science and related courses than other of my universities. So you would have to see whether you want to go for academic depth or whether you want to go a little more lifestyle, basically.
Okay.
And if you go up academic depth, you start out finding that University of Applied Sciences where most of your concentration and your focus and interest seems to be located and clustered. And then you list the courses there. With the internships, they're so specific sometimes that here I would just rank the 3, and you can only do one. You just rank your 3 favorite ones, and you put on top either your favorite city or your favorite internship. And then we try to match you with the first.
You try and make it work, but whatever
we try to make it work, but a lot is it depends. The professors who run the internships, they're very serious people who love international students, but they have to make sure that the lab is running. So they will check your prerequisites, and maybe they'll check for your GPA and whatever else is required there. Some might really insist on prior lab experience, others might be a little more lenient. Sometimes there's also flexibility in the length. You'll see on the internships, individual internships, it sometimes says 3 to 6 months. Sometimes it depends on the projects the professors are running. We try to keep this very current, and it is usually current, but there's sometimes flexibility. If you cannot go for longer than 4 months, you should maybe note that somewhere so that the professor already knows and can consider whether this still works. Some students have a preference on going maybe starting everything a month later than it should. This will be more up for negotiation than the course and study works, for instance, and I found the professors trying to be very accommodating, but to a certain degree. So this is also why my office here is very interesting to you, because I'm kind of a one-stop shop. If you have the questions can come from all sides, on all aspects. I usually know whom to ask,
Okay.
Yeah.
So you would be a good contact to connect someone.
If you have more specific questions, in any event, all the application documents, all the application packages, they do come to my desk first.
Okay.
So I'm the first one. I'll distribute them to Germany, to the respective universities. I'll keep watch over the deadlines. Yeah. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out.
Great. I think that's, and also additionally through our office as well, if a question comes up, we can absolutely reach out to you as well. And like you just mentioned, you could definitely point us in the right direction if you can't answer it yourself.
That's true. That's right. And yes, I want to again make a plug for you. Have great people at Albany in the international offices. You are in very good hands. So also with the scholarships and everything, as Mark said, go early, try to figure it out academically, that the credits get all accepted towards where you need them to get accepted. Mark is a living example of having really made it work to go abroad, study abroad 3 times and successfully concluded his studies. So your people know what they're doing. This is great. So make use of that. And the Gilman scholarship opportunities, I know they have recently expanded that. So there are more stipends now available through the Gilman scholarship. And, you know, Mark and his office, they keep these informations current too. And they also know which might be most accepted or applicable for the UAS 7 programs, for instance. Yeah.
Exactly. And you mentioned the Gilman Scholarship, just for people watching. If you are interested in applying for the Gilman Scholarship, my colleague Jacqueline Letterman helps with your application. Like I said, really helps perfect your writing, make it all as neat and tidy as possible before submitting it. And that could definitely help. So within our office, if you have questions regarding scholarships, please feel free to stop by, ask, and we'll point you in the right direction to get you the help that you need.
Wonderful.
All right. So again, I hope this was very, this was very interesting and informative for me. I really appreciate you taking the time to present and talk about UAS 7 and all it has to offer. And yeah, in the future, as students apply, we will be we'll be in contact.
Wonderful.
Across the board.
Thank you, Mark. And I hope to see you all in Germany then.
Yes.